Hi, thank you for visiting my video to learn how to make Mandel bread. Mandel bread for me was a huge tradition. Whenever I visited my mother's relatives, aunts and uncles, cousins, they would always have Mandel bread available. It was delicious. My mother only made it on special occasions, which as a kid growing up, it was just like it was a sugar cookie to me, but it was actually the Jewish cookie. And Mandel bread does come from the Jewish ancestors from the Ukraine. Mandelbrot, which is a Yiddish word, actually means almond bread, which is made into two loaves and twice baked, leaving the bread with a crusty exterior similar to that of Italian biscotti. The ingredients that we're going to use is 5 cups of almonds. We're going to grind them into a flour. We're going to use 3 eggs, a quarter cup of honey, a teaspoon of vanilla. We're going to use a quarter cup of raisins. We're going to use about 1 cup of Mandel dates, California dates. We're going to use 2 tablespoons of butter. Now we don't need a lot of shortening in this because the shortening and the oils are actually going to be coming from the almond flour. So we don't want to add more shortening to what we already have going on. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grind up some of the nuts. And the idea with the nuts in your grinder, just so that you're fully aware, is that you do about 1 cup at a time. Because you don't want to overgrind them and it turns into a butter. So it's quickly just a pulse. You're never going to get it super fine, but what you are going to do is you are going to get it into cut before it turns into a oil. What you're also going to do is you're going to get your oven heated to 350 degrees, preheated. And you're going to get ready for that. It's going to be twice baked, and that's what also makes it unique to the Mandel bread. So we're on 4 cups. The pulsating of it actually brings the nuts up and down to be able to make sure that they don't settle to the bottom. Now we're going to get 5 cups here. Perfect. I'm going to put them all into a mixing bowl, separate from this, because this will actually mix it up too much. Okay. Okay, sorry about that technical difficulty there. This is all new to me, so creating my first YouTube video is a very big achievement, and I apologize for that. So anyway, we have the 5 cups of ground almond flour, and to that we're going to start adding our ingredients. And the first thing we're going to add is the 3 eggs, and we won't just add them right in. We'll actually mix them up separately first. I also want to thank all those people that are looking forward to this recipe because it tastes delicious. So just mix that up before we add it in. And then the other wet ingredients, which would be the 1 tablespoon of vanilla. We're going to add in the butter, 2 tablespoons. I melted it down a little bit in the microwave. And we'll add it in the honey. We are going to use some honey again. We're going to actually coat the bread. And we're not going to mix it up in a hand mixer or anything like that. We're just going to do a soft mix because the dough itself in a Mandel bread is usually very, very soft to begin with. And so to mix it up there in the food processor or in a mixer, it would make it too watery. Now there are variations of this. One of the variations is the fruit that you decide to add, the nuts that you decide to add. The issue with the nuts that you got to be very conscientious of is the oils from those nuts are actually creating more shortening. So I lessened the amount of shortening that I used to 2 tablespoons just to get enough of the butter flavor really. And the consistency itself is still a little bit loose, but we are going to add in our medjool dates. They've been pitted and cut into small pieces. And we are going to add in our 1/4 cup of raisins. I balanced it out. If I didn't have the dates, I would definitely put in more raisins, probably about a good 1/2 cup. But I decided to treat myself when I was out today and I saw the dates, and they're just so sweet. And Mandel bread is a very sweet pastry bread. That's what it's meant to be. Now also with that, you also have cinnamon. And cinnamon is used not necessarily to add into the Mandel bread, but to actually have it on top and sprinkle it on the bottom as well. So on the cookie sheet, I have some shortening, which I use butter. And on top of that, I have a sprinkle of cinnamon. And that will be for the bottom. This is still a little bit loose, but it's still of good consistency. It's not going to be a solid piece until it actually bakes 2 times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring over the cookie sheet. And we have our oven set up for 350. So what we're going to do is we're just going to scoop it right on. But what we're going to do is we're going to shape it into a loaf. Kind of like a very low loaf. Again, don't worry about the consistency itself, that it appears a little bit moist. Even the recipe that calls for the processed foods actually is a very loose dough as well, so don't worry about that. So that's one loaf. Lay that right next to it. And then what I'll do is I'll go back and smooth it down. You can make a very large recipe, so the more nuts you're adding with the eggs, definitely the more Mandel bread you can make. It's also, people use walnuts in here as well, whole or cut up walnuts. You can make it really into any shape. I've always known it to be a loaf. You don't want it too fat because you want it to be able to bake all the way through. So you want to try to keep the same consistency throughout. And I would say that's probably maybe about this much. About a quarter of an inch, a couple of centimeters. And then basically you're all done, except for we're going to add in some cinnamon. Spunk it right on. Generously is good. We're going to throw this in the oven, 350 degrees for 20 minutes. We're going to take it back out. We'll see you then. We're going to slice it up into individual bread slices all the way through. We're going to put it back into the oven, cook it for another 10-15 minutes until it's lightly browned, until it's fully baked. See you then. Okay, well, it's about that time. The Mandel bread should be ready. It's been in there 20 minutes. Just waiting for the buzzer to go off so that we can take it out and slice it up. It doesn't really matter what kind of knife you use. It's going to be very hot, that's all. Well, the Mandel bread looks really good. It looks kind of tight, which is exactly what we want. We're just going to slice it up. Probably about this much. You don't want them too thin, you don't want them too thick. And again, the unique thing about it is that this is twice baked, so it cooks through again. And it will come out a little bit hard. And that's it, we're going to put it right back into the oven. Not going to change the temperature, it's going to go back for another 10 minutes. And we'll see you back then. Okay, so we're right about that time where the Mandel bread's been in there for now another 10 minutes after we've cut it. So let's go see our nice creation. Beautiful. Beautiful. What's going to be kind of variant with each person that does this, it's going to depend on the moisture of the nuts. Definitely. It's going to depend upon the moisture of your raisins and how many you use, or you can put in some pineapple, or people put in like cherries. I used the dates. They were very sweet. You might have to adjust the honey a little bit. You don't want it too moist, but I'll show you how hard it is. And the longer it dries a little bit and settles and cools down, it'll actually become a little bit more brittle. So you do need to give it some care as it begins to cool down a little bit. The other thing is you just want to be able to make sure that the time in the oven is long enough, but yet not too long. And so these actually, as you can see, turn this light on. Because they came out really, really like a light brown. Really, really good. And how I can also tell is as I take this away from the tin foil, it's very hot. It basically is coming out each slice perfectly done. Again, some technical difficulties here, but as it comes out, it comes out really well. It comes out in strips, and so it's very nice. You can decorate your plate. These can also be frozen. Remember, they don't have any preservatives in it, so you want to be very careful about how long you leave them out. And so as you can see, they turned out to be little Mandel bread slices. Bon appetit. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for the technical difficulties that I had in my first YouTube video. I wanted to be able to reach out to everybody that I could, that they could enjoy the same delight, the same happiness of enjoying our childhood while eating Mandel bread the unprocessed way. Thank you so much. Thank you.